Hello everyone, this is Zach here, the PencilBurn Studios YouTube channel, and before I start the announcement, I may as well say Happy New Year and welcome to 2022, because clearly surviving 2020 and 2021 is a feat unto itself. I've already made a video about 2021 in reflection, so if you want to hear more about what I thought of last year, go watch that. But now, on to the announcement. So back in November I announced a whole bunch of things. The first adventure, that came out. My book, A Day in the Life of Jason Jones, that's out. So now we come to comics. I'm proud to announce that the first comic of CLAVUMS Adventures will be coming out on the 16th of January 2022. With the comics, I'm planning on releasing them halfway through the month. So 16th of January 2022, 15th of February 2022, so on, so on and so on. I have release dates in mind, and hopefully they should be appearing on the screen right now. So if you want to pause and take a look at that, that's when all the comics are going to be releasing from. I say comics, it's more a magazine. All you have to do is go onto my Patreon page, go onto the latest post, and hopefully it should be there. Then it's kind of like how people access the first adventure. You click a hyperlink, it downloads itself to your computer, and bam, you got a comic/book to read on your computer, or phone, or tablet, what have you. 10 issues from January to October will be released of the CLAVUMS Adventures magazine. So first off, let me say that this magazine will have more than just CLAVUMS Adventures and his friends thwarting evil or doing whatever the heck they do. This magazine is going to introduce brand new characters that are going to be important in Season 2, and I suppose now is a good time to introduce you to them. These characters will appear in comic strip form, which will consist of a whole A4 page. And first off is Matthew, Billy and Cody. Matthew is kind of like a scientific genius. Matthew is kind of what happens when you put John, Jane and Linda in a blender. He's a good mechanic, he's good at scientific discoveries, but he's kind of silly, which contrasts his friend Billy. Billy is a lot more sporty. She even hosts aerobics classes on the side, but she always takes interest in Matthew's crazy schemes, which you will see if you read the comics. Cody is a robot that Matthew built. He's a personal assistant robot and basically does anything that Matthew tells him. He functions off of AI and he's kind of like the straight man in the middle of it all. It takes trial and error to get him right, but that's something that you'll have to see in the comics. Next up is Magic Henry and his friend Sam Jones. Our eagle-eyed viewers will recognise these guys from episode 3 of the cartoon, and you would be right. You see, that's what they call in the business a sneaky one. I pulled a sneaky one on you. Henry is an aspiring magician who looks up to the likes of Harry Houdini, and he kind of wants to become this great illusionist or magician, to varying results. His friend Sam Jones keeps him grounded, but to be fair, she's as much as a magic nut as he is. Henry and Sam constantly try and perfect their magic skills and perform them in front of family and friends to varying results, but that's something you'll have to see in the comics. Now, here comes the weirdest installment in the comic strips. Chris the dog and the Annie clan. It's basically this forest that's ruled over a human princess, whose subjects are anthropomorphic animals. Chris, a green talking dog, because why not? Hopper, a dapper dressed rabbit, who's insane. Jack, a badger, and Tina, a pink dog, because again, why not? They live in a forest and basically have to forage for food because they're in the middle of nowhere, and I'll leave their escapades for you to discover when you read the comics. Now on to what I call our feature presentation, the CLAVUMS Adventures comic. I've split 5 stories into 10 issues of the magazine, so that equates to 2 copies of the magazine making 1 story. Now in all 5 of these stories we bump into familiar faces like Mac and Galaxor, and we also meet other creatures and villains who I won't spoil for you. But the intent here is that these characters and these stories will link into Season 2. It's not like if you watch Season 2 without reading the comics that you'll be completely confused, but it's advisable anyway. The plan here is that there'll be a magazine releasing every month from January to October, and then November and December will be reserved for Season 2. That way you'll have an entire year of CLAVUMS content, which is kind of insane when I think about it. In fact, I wanted to call this the Year of CLAVUM, but I didn't. Anyway, of course by the time the final issue of the magazine drops, I'll finally release the big CLAVUM timeline so that people aren't confused. And of course, that timeline will encompass the first adventure, Season 1, and these are magazines and comics. I'm debating on whether or not to make audio visuals of these comics, so I'm just gonna wait and see how the first adventure audio visual does, and then I'll take it from there. Because I'm in the middle of making the first adventure audio visual, and it was a lot more harder than I expected. So to reiterate, the magazines will be coming out from January to October. Issues should be released from these dates. Just leave it on the screen for a little longer for you to see, and the first issue of the magazine lands on the 16th of January. So I hope you enjoy it, I hope you like the new characters, I hope you like the new enemies, I hope you like the new stories, and I hope that you liked this video as well. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to. Check out the Instagram, check out the TikTok, check out the Patreon, they'll all be linked down below. Shout out to BRRising2104 for being my only patron who pays £4.23 for me every month. Good on you, bro. If you'd like to give me some money, then you can also go to Patreon and do that as well. I'd also like to add that CLAVUMS Adventures cannot grow without word of mouth because the algorithms and all the websites hate me very, very much. So I would very much appreciate if you tell your friends, tell your family, tell people who would be interested about CLAVUMS Adventures, and I'd love you forever. With that all being said, this was PencilBurn Studios. You have been my audience. Goodbye.